HS is difficult. It's so difficult, and it's even more difficult alone. So if you've experienced this, let's talk about it. Hey y'all, it's your girl Dr. Nina, and today I wanted to have another heartfelt discussion about HS, or hidradenitis suppurativa, or acne inversa, which is the pus-filled or fluid-filled large or small cysts or boils that literally form underneath the skin and can open up into lesions. These usually happen in areas where the skin can rub together and lots of sweat is in those areas, sweat glands. So in between the thighs, in between the growing areas, underneath the arms, underneath the chest area, or in between, and various other areas for different people. And it can vary in severity for certain people. For me, I was able to have it mild to moderate, and I was in my early 20s. I was diagnosed by a doctor, not self-diagnosed. I literally was doing a lot of research on this. I was one of the first people to speak out about it on YouTube. Facts, look about 10 years back, and when it was unpopular to even discuss it. I remember some people came here and they were like, oh, well, you don't look like you had it. Come on now, y'all. If I was gonna lie about something, it certainly ain't gonna be HS. You know why? Because karma is a B-I-E-I, and otherwise, also, most people don't even know they have it, right? Most people will come in thinking that they have boils and that those are normal, so they don't even know what it is. I do this because I went through that. I silently suffered, so you don't have to. So definitely, if you're encountering these difficulties, I urge you to get into your doctor and figure out what's going on with your body, track it, and get to know you more so you know what's going on. Furthermore, I wanted to say that today I wanted to discuss it from the vantage point of, now that I've given birth, I've been pregnant, I've had all these hormonal differences and changes, I've lost over 100 pounds, all these different things, and I know what the ups and downs of this looks like. I definitely want to discuss that with you, what I've been doing, especially since I talked about this in pregnancy with y'all, and lots of you found a lot of great love from that video. I want to do that again and talk more about it. So make sure that you talk about your experiences down below. All the resources that I want to offer to you all, including articles and things like that, will be found or linked down in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into this video. Something I want to say is that hidradenitis suppurativa is not necessarily caused by bad or poor hygiene, and it's not also something that you can just push to happen. Some of us are more blessed than others to be greeted with these things, and for some reason, different life changes bring about it in different ways. So like I said, I've been through pretty much all the changes most people can go through, and now going through these hormonal changes, giving birth, all of that, I have seen how my body has responded, and I wanted to speak to that because I know even if you haven't done those particular things, sometimes at different ages, our hormones are changing, our stress levels are changing, our responsibilities are changing, we're getting into fitness or things like that, so we're encountering the sweat and the rubbing together of the skin. So this could be an issue. So let's talk about the various things that have helped in those situations. Being aware of vitamin and mineral holes in my diet has been so helpful. Now, a lot of times, even though I eat pretty well, I still don't get 100% of my vitamins and my minerals through my food. So I'm a supplement girl, okay? And what I did find out is, in a recent study conducted in like 2023, they did find that there were a list of vitamins and minerals that could help to reduce the flares that you might have when you have HS. And some of those are included with iron, zinc, vitamin A, D, and B12. And if you're interested in that article, I've linked it below in the description. These could help with reducing inflammation and swelling in the body, which is behind HS. I rotate between Smarty Pants prenatals as well as Mary Ruth Organics, and I've taken prenatal vitamins since I was in my teens. So that's been going on for a long time. And these are integrated vitamins. So they're going to have multiple vitamins within them. So I still have to supplement with other vitamins to make sure I'm getting 100% of the daily values. Skin issues, hair loss, and frequent infections can happen when you have deficiencies in a lot of these vitamins and minerals specifically. I know for me, vitamin D deficiency was huge. There were 2 times in my life that I had very low vitamin D, and I had to be placed on high level IU vitamin D supplements like 5,000 IU or more in order for me to get those values back up. I was tired, I was restless, there was a bit of hair loss, there was also some other issues, and all of those taken together, a lot of people don't have a lot of vitamin D or zinc, and sometimes there's a difficulty with absorption, and as you get older, vitamin B12 is even harder to absorb. So read up on that, learn what you might be missing in your diet as well as your supplements or your vitamins and minerals so that you can know if that's really aggravating your flares. You'll also want to talk with your doctor to make sure that you understand what's going on with your particular case and before you start a vitamin regimen. I try to use germ fighting washes on my body. And yes, I love talking about hygiene, but it's not all about smelling good, okay? There's a lot of other key reasons why I discuss it so much. One of the things for those with HS is that we find even the healthy mixes of bacteria being on the skin can cause our bodies to overreact and cause inflammation and flare-ups from HS. But showering effectively washes away dirt and bacteria from my skin. I try to use non-comedogenic soap or body wash, which won't clog my pores. And I'm also careful from all the products that I use on my body, right down to the shampoos and conditioners that I choose to use. Germs can get in and cause more easily a lot of infections of the skin as well. They can cause the oozing and other issues, especially if your skin breaks open and other items get into the skin, causing longer term infections, which is devastating. I look for the ingredients like zinc, chlorhexidine, and benzoyl peroxide. And I still think Dial soap is a great option. However, I've just extended upon the ones that I use that have great properties as well. So I like Dettol, Hibiclens, as well as Panoxyl. And also I've been trying out a new one. It's Remedy soap, but I haven't used that as much yet because it has peppermint oil and it can reduce your breast milk supply. So we got to back up off of that. I've told y'all that Dettol has both liquid and bar versions, and it's antibacterial and pH balanced. The Hibiclens is antimicrobial and antiseptic, and they use it in surgical patients to reduce the amount of infections that they might encounter. And I like Panoxyl from the face down because it really helps with the cleansing with the benzoyl peroxide. And all of these separate can definitely help with the scent that HS can carry, which is not always that great. And I also will tell you to be careful with it because you don't want to clean the inside of your middle with it because you don't want to reduce the good bacteria in it. So while I do bathe in these, sometimes I watch where I put it. Otherwise, I'm just keeping those areas clean and dry. And speaking of how I nourish my body, this is one of the biggest things on the list because what you put in is what comes out. And for me, a lot of foods I have to eliminate, especially when I feel a flare coming on. Unfortunately, you can't just have everything that you want with this because it will come out in the skin. So as I've always said, you want to dig deep to find out your food triggers. And the same thing goes for the things you put on your body. You want to give each big thing that you're trying at least a week to see whether or not it's causing flares or causing issues with your body or reducing those flares. So sometimes I have to make sure, and I'm not a big dairy person anyway, but I have to make sure it's eliminated, a lot of big sugars and any brewer's yeast. If I reduce those, I notice that there's a limited amount of flares. That can include cow's milk, butter, and ice cream, table sugar, corn syrup, and beer, wines, potatoes, and tomatoes. Instead, I opt for higher fiber foods, omega-3 fatty acids, and anti-inflammatory foods. That's like beans, lentils, and couscous, veggies, omega-3, salmon, and even flaxseed and avocado. Sometimes I have to figure out the meals that really help me reach my goals. And that's why I'm loving HelloFresh, who's the sponsor of today's video. I know many of y'all are just like me and have a whole lot to do. Now that I got the husband and my little bitty hunter, y'all, mile a minute. I can rest knowing that I can make restaurant quality meals at home without the high price of takeout. Plus, HelloFresh's new Ready in 20 meals are on the table in just 20 minutes. That's even quicker than delivery. Make delicious food a priority this spring with quick, convenient recipes delivered right to your door. Just choose your meal and select your delivery date. HelloFresh handles all of the meal planning, shopping, and most of the prep. So all you have to do is open your box and get cooking. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep pre-portioned and ready to cook and help to reduce food waste by up to 45% compared to grocery shopping. My husband and I love the time saving, the taste of the food, and the ideas that it gives us. And when you sign up today, you'll unlock free dessert for life. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code DrNinaSweet for free dessert for life. One dessert item per box while subscription is active. Again, that's code DrNinaSweet at HelloFresh.com for free dessert for life. So I should be clear and say that for me, when I was younger, I used to get HS a lot of times in between the thighs as well as under my arms. And I will say when I got older, it was more towards under my arms. And even during pregnancy, I have my check-in friend, thank you, Francesca, who I talk to sometimes and let her know when I was having flares. During pregnancy, I think I had 3 instances of flares and they were all underneath my arms. So my underarms are just way more susceptible. So I still wanted to nourish my skin topically, like with items and oils and things like that, but I had to watch different oils because some things can be unsafe. So y'all know I love my oil mixes, but I also love the oils that I can use straightforwardly, like tea tree oil, and I will die on that hill because it really is a natural acne helper and it does really work wonders. It also does really well for healing scars, but I never put it on my skin unless I dilute it with like olive oil or almond oil. You do not want to use it straight out. Some people do. I just not trying to end up burning myself up. And I do this on the area twice a day, like especially when I felt it coming on. And what it does is it helps to relieve the inflammation. And if it is a full-on sore, it also helps with the healing of that as well. And other oils that I mentioned before include eucalyptus, lemon, lavender, and neem. And you want to be careful with neem in pregnancy and breastfeeding because it's not really safe or recommended. The eucalyptus can help with scars and wounds. The vitamin C in the lemon helps with the appearance of scars. Lavender also helps with scars, and neem helps to reduce bacteria and inflammation. I am also very careful about removing any hair, and while removing hair from under my arms and down below has been very helpful, I have to be very careful because a lot of times if you do this during a flare-up, it's going to only intensify your symptoms and make them worse. Having less hair or helping the hair to become thinner can improve your flare-ups with HS overall. And I told y'all I found a lot of relief in doing my own waxing and shaving. I only use sugar or hard wax when waxing. And I also make sure that I baby the skin after I've done anything, especially like waxing, because I want to avoid ingrowns at all. It can be hell with HS. But let me be clear, this does not work for everyone. For some people, shaving and even waxing can irritate the skin further. So a lot of people find a lot of help with doing laser hair removal treatment. Now, I haven't done that yet. I've been doing a little bit of research. I'm a little nervous about it because of the hyperpigmentation that it can cause, and I am prone to hyperpigmentation, but maybe I'll try that out one day. But it's definitely good to talk to your personal doctor about any of the hair removal options that might work best for you and your skin. I'm a detox scrub type of girl, but whenever there's a flare or not, I still have to watch it with the exfoliation and the scrubbing. It's actually better to baby your skin than to get tough with it. I had to be careful in pregnancy and with these hormone changes because extra hot showers got to feeling good to me, and y'all know how I feel about that. Lukewarm water is much better because you don't want to strip the skin and aggravate it even further, which can cause an ugly flare. And rough treatment actually triggers the inflammatory response in the body. And y'all know that scrubbing can break the skin. This can open the skin barrier to more infections and even allergens. In a lot of cases, especially when I suspect a flare-up, I use my hands to soap up and also to rinse off. And at those times, I also avoid things like washcloths because, as y'all know, they can carry hidden bacteria, which can get into the skin or those broken skin areas and cause even more infection. I've had to work to reduce friction and rubbing together of the skin. Everything on me in pregnancy rubbed together and still does in some areas. I'm just saying. And HS tends to show up in areas where the skin rubs together. Running, exercising, and all of that not only added friction, but also moisture. So believe it or not, it's not necessarily the irritation from the shaping of the skin so much, but it's definitely the rubbing together of the skin that makes the problem for HS. That back and forth motion causes inflammation. Looser fitting clothes have proven to be my friend. And I also like to keep things around me like wipes or even paper towels or things that can dry me off when I'm out. I'll also share some of my favorite shaving items down below in the description. Avoiding extra sweat and overheating has definitely helped as well. Sweating and overheating tends to worsen HS. Now, I was good and I kept a workout routine in pregnancy and even postpartum. And I was pregnant during the summer, so there was not much working out outside in the Texas heat. Absolutely not. I'm only outside early in the morning or late in the evening when temperatures tend to be a little bit more mild. And I also wash anything that tends to get sweaty quickly to avoid any bacteria buildup, because if that gets on your skin, then you know what's gonna happen. I love a good warm compress, but ice has been a win or two lately. And maybe just because I'm hot all the time now. But heat reduces pain and swelling in the affected area or the swollen area. But I stick with dry sources of heat because wet ones like towels or things like that can carry bacteria. And I just let it sit like 10 minutes. And what it does is it encourages the nodule or the cyst to drain a little bit more, or at least provide you with some relief. The showers or heated showers also help with this as well. And I just don't try to stay in there too long, especially when it's super warm. Afterwards, I press on the area and I try not to pop the cyst, because this can cause further rupturing and problems and bacteria buildup, which can cause additional flares and infection. But putting an ice pack with a barrier has proven to be amazing. Chef's kiss, y'all. Like, what I find is if I have like a pack of peas or anything, just any kind of ice pack, I usually put fabric in between, because you don't want to damage your skin and you also don't want to cause any numbness. And if I leave it on for 10 to 20 minutes, I find major relief, probably just as much as with heat. I talked about products briefly, but a lot of the ones that we choose to use can prove to be a problem. I use fragrance-free hypoallergenic products, especially when I feel like I'm having a flare coming on or I'm having an active one. In those times, I try to use more minimal scent and natural deodorants as well. Allergy-friendly options without scent also do help with the active sores or issues you might have with lesions. I try to stay away from anything that can clog my pores and anything that can increase the chance of ingrown hairs. Ingredients for me to stay away from personally include alcohol, heavy metals, extra fragrances, and also parabens. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. If you're feeling ashamed of this, please don't. A lot of people don't even speak up, and they deal with this for their whole lives. I know a lot of people that when I opened up, they talked a lot about it. I've had good friends, really close friends, that have even had to have surgery for this. Now, what I will also say is feel comfortable talking to your doctor. And if you can't find someone that's willing to take you seriously, go where you are taken seriously. I am so serious. You don't want to end up with an infection or something else that could not be reversible. You want to be able to do all that you can for yourself. And it does not matter how old you are either. I found mine young, but there are people who find theirs older, and that's okay too. Get the relief how you can. Follow your treatment plan and figure out what's going to be best for you. And something else I'm going to mention, while weight loss does not help everyone completely, I can say that for me, it totally helps the situation much better. As I mentioned, friction on my skin has caused a lot of flare-ups. And so the less friction I have, the better. So while weight loss can be mentioned, that's not to shame anyone. It's also to make sure that you understand even the research shows that obesity is related to a lot of the flare-ups that can occur. So make sure that you're educated, know what you can do, and make a plan for yourself from there. So I hope today's video has been beneficial for y'all. HS is difficult. It's so difficult, and it's even more difficult alone. So if you've experienced this, let's talk about it down below. I love that we have community support on this, and I know that it's something that's been a part of my life for a long time, and thank God I've been able to really reduce the issues that I've had with this because of early intervention. So make sure that you take care of yourself as well, and I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. Make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace.